Hey guys, it's time to do another data deviation where we go into the data of different decks on EDHREC and challenge all of the cards that we can to try to make those decks better than what they already are at a baseline of just pulling out the average deck list. So let's get to it. Today we're checking out Maja, Bretagard Protector, and her data in the deck list. This deck already has some really good things within the data deck lists. So we better go ahead and have a look at the average deck list and have a look at some of the cards that we can put in from this deck, copy a list, and see how we can make it better. So let's use Architect to put together this list here for today. Alrighty, so this deck, as I said, has quite a lot of good cards in it, and we are going to have to work around putting some more good cards into it, and we're going to have to take some good cards that are in this deck out of this deck to make room for said cards. Especially having land of 36, that just does not seem right, even though that we do have a couple MDFCs that I can see a Bretagard Recovery over there and whatnot. So the thing about decks like this is our commander essentially is the enabler that we're most looking to trigger, essentially. So we want all of these ramping effects, and we don't want many other quote-unquote payoffs. We don't want Zendikar Royal. We don't want to retreat to Emeria because those aren't really what we're doing. We don't need Colony Heart, I don't think, because we could just play another ramp spell. Intangible Virtue could be fine. That could be fine. Felidar Retreat, since it can actually buff our stuff, can be fine as well. The cat mode, we're not going to choose that much. Beastmaster Ascension can be good. I don't like Aura Shards personally. I know how powerful it can be, however, but I would take it out just due to the slight price point on it, because it can be quite pricey in a sense, and we do want to lower our price as much as possible. Huatli can get very big, a lot of loyalty very quickly, and can ult very quickly. And we do want that emblem as quickly as possible. But again, for the most part, I think we could do better than what it's doing. It's one of those things. It's very hard for us to sort of protect it and do another game plan. We don't really need many of these artifacts at all. We don't need Skull Clamp because, again, most of our creatures are going to be getting buffed by our commander, so they're not even going to die most of the time. I don't think Idol of Oblivion's nearly as good as what people think it is either, and we don't need Arcane Signet. Alright, I don't know about Later Rest. Later Rest I don't think we need. I don't think we need Sunling Growth. I don't think we need Rootborn Defenses. Do we need Rite of Harmony? That is actually an interesting question. It is quote-unquote a 2-off, even though it is a 1-off. I will think about that, but I'm going to take out Heroic Intervention. Yeah, I'm not sure about Rite of Harmony. Can draw us a lot of cards, but it is sort of a 1-off, but we can flash it back. That is very interesting. I would think about that. I'm not going to say that I am yet sold on it. We don't want Adeline because we don't really need any other payoffs per se in this regard. I don't think we need Alvison's Pilgrim. We don't need this sort of thing. We don't need any other payoffs like Avenger of Zendikar. We need things that help us kill our opponents. We don't need a Mirror Angel. Eternal Witness is fine. Karametra is really good. I think Knight of the Reliquary can be very good, but I feel like we're sacking things to get things sort of... It feels like you want a 2-4, like Field of the Dead with this thing. So I just don't see what it's specifically getting you except for more landfall triggers. I don't think Sigard is worth our time, to be honest. Now, this is where I think it becomes very interesting. What we're trying to do with this deck, in my opinion, again, and this is based on what I'm thinking about this deck, is we don't need much mana for this deck. We do need some. So Lotus Cobra, I think, is on the edge of what we kind of want to be doing, and kind of we don't really need it that much. We don't really need it 100%. We need other things a little bit more. Marasa can be okay because it does have Vigilance, and we are going to have a whole bunch of basics in this deck. So I could see leaving it. Prava can go. Balos can go. Excavator's okay. We could do without it to a degree. Reese, I think Reese could be good, but Reese could also be not really what we want to be doing and a bit too slow in a sense, so I'm going to take it out. Rumor Gatherer is only once per turn. Steve is really good. Scoot is really good, but we can't really make use of it with this deck. Saurus Spore Mound, pretty good. And as I said, Timeless Provisioner is in that same boat as sort of Lotus Cobra, but at least we keep that mana. Yashan, I don't know much about Yashan being that good, but it does shut some people down sometimes, which can be useful. We certainly need way more lands than this. But we'll have to look at see what else we need or want to take it out. Shamanic Revelation, we need other things, not this sort of thing. Out of Reckoning, I think we can do better than that. Harvest Season, the Harvest Season can be good. Harmonize, we can do way better than that. Cultivate, fine for this deck in this purposes. Camaraderie is interesting, so I'm kind of thinking about it. We've already cut quite a few cards. We're down to 72, which is interesting already. No, but we do need way more lands, as I sort of said. Are there any lands here that I would think to take out? Gavany Township can be useful. I don't like Myriad Landscape, but just because it comes in tapped, so I would think about taking it out. I don't like a bounce land, even though it can find some utility in decks like this and whatnot. Just don't like it. So let's find more things that we can add to this deck that will be more useful for what we're trying to do. So having gone through EDHREC and having a quick look around, this is the list of stuff that I've come up with. I think I'll add to the list. So let's go ahead and add this stuff. All right, after adding those cards to the list here, I think the list looks quite a bit better. I also added just a couple lands as well, just plain old plains and a plain old forest as well. And I do think the deck looks a lot better here. We've really changed what the focus of this deck is doing, and focused it more onto what I think we want to be doing in making as many landfalls as we can and whatnot to trigger our commander's ability, doing other things and whatnot with lands and making mana and, utilizing our creatures to, get some sort of other card advantage or mana advantage and whatnot. There are some cards that are here that could be switched out for some other cards and whatnot. But overall, I do think that this is a pretty tight list that is pretty darn decent. And it would be hard to fault any of the cards here, I think. Although there are some cards that are perhaps worth trimming as well. Still, we could still find some room for some other things. And I do think we still need more lands because lands are kind of our bread and butter in this style of a deck, so we really need as many mostly as possible as well, so that we can, fuel the strategy that we are looking for. And again, we have so much ramp and whatnot that we really need to be able to make sure that we're going to find lands and whatnot anytime that we decide to want to search. So we want all of these lands in there so that we can search so many different lands out with all of our abilities and whatnot. So slight changes there just before we sort of do wrap up here. But overall, as I sort of said, I do think that this is a pretty decent list. Not a perfect list, perhaps, but still a fairly decent list of things that I would have suggested for a deck like this. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think of this. Maybe I skipped one too many steps here or there, or whatnot, or went through a few too many things too quickly or too slowly at times or whatnot. But do let me know what you like about this. This is one of the first things that I've tried to do something a bit different with as well. So I hope that, people do like it, because I'm trying something new, something different, another form of a deck tech essentially, and just trying to, take people through going, well, what cards do I really need for what I'm really doing? I really want these cards that are, activating what my commander really wants to do, because my commander is the main payoff for this deck, and then I just want to turn whatever my commander is doing into doing the most work for me and whatnot, rather than, oh, well, I have heaps of other payoffs in the deck, but, they're not really, as good as maybe what my commander can be if I build around what my commander is doing. But anyway, guys, do let me know what you think, especially if you perhaps might be like, well, maybe it needs 2 or 3 more lands or whatnot, this and that, whatever, slight changes, tweaks, whatnot, that you might make to this deck list. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comments below. I'll be sure to try to respond to all the comments. Really love interacting with you guys, talking about deck building, EDH, and all these geeky things that we love. So yeah, I'll see you down there in those comments below, or I'll see you in the next one. Hey, you've just finished watching one of our videos. A bunch of other videos are popping up on your screen now for you to check out, so why not check them out?